Warning: the following podcast, which contains strong language and mature content, is unsuitable for children or for the faint of heart. The subject matter discussed will be frightening and graphic in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
When you wanna hear about the paranormal, you get the Spooked Girls. True crime that makes you hypothermal. With the 3 Spooked Girls, Stabby Snippets will give you dreams. Tara and Jessica will make you along with the Spooked Girls. Bring on the slaughter, we on that haunted ground. Spooked Girls. The 3 Spooked Girls.
Hey Spooksters, and welcome back to another episode here on 3 Spooked Girls. My name is Tara, and as always, I'm here with my ghoul friend Jessica.
Hello.
Hello. And today we are doing another round of true crime headlines, as you can see by the title. If you are new here and you haven't listened to these, we collect different headlines that either are updates on cases we have covered, which, spoiler alert, our first one will be, and other ones that we just find interesting. Our last one was quite the array. There was a Labubu heist. I think there was something with a cruise ship. There was all kinds of different ones. So if you haven't listened to those before, definitely go check them out. And if you are new here, thank you for checking out the show. And returning Spooksters, welcome back. But before we get into our headlines for today, if you are not hanging out with us on social media, you can find us on all the places. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, everywhere. Our handle is at 3 Spooked Girls. We also have our amazing Facebook group, which is 3 Spooked Girls Official. And we also have a YouTube channel that you can tune in as well if you like that platform. And if you are a reader, we do have a virtual book club that meets once a month. It is the Spookster Literary Society. This month, we are reading a retelling of Snow White, or a reimagining. It is Hemlock and Silver. I started it yesterday. I'm listening to it on Audible, and I really like it so far. It's pretty good. I love the covers of the book. This author kind of has done quite a bit of retellings and stuff, so I'm definitely going to check out some of their other stuff. But if you are interested in talking about books, if you want to read the book with us, you can definitely check it out. And we meet at the end of the month on our Discord, which everything is linked in the show notes below in our link tree. And if you would like to support the show and also get ad-free episodes the day before, you can go to our Patreon. It is patreon.com/3 Spooked Girls. For as little as $1, you get 1 bonus episode a month. Like I said, there are ad-free episodes that starts at our $5 tier, and they get them the day before. And we have a ton of backlog of bonus content you can check out. Some is video, some is just randomness that we did during the pandemic, all kinds of cool stuff over there. And also, if you're looking for more content and you want free, we also have our second show, which will be coming back next week. That is Social Seance Society. And I am going to go ahead and tell you guys, we are starting another nostalgic deep dive. We had been kind of teasing about it, but we're at the point now where we can tell you what it is, because it'll be coming out in a few days. If you're listening to this on published day, we are going to be doing a 4-part deep dive into Hunger Games. I am so excited. I know you're so excited.
I am. I have been rereading, but also I love doing this because I get to be in charge of the outline. And I keep going, I got to add this. I'm like, Tara's going to open episode 1 outline and be like, what the hell happened? So many updates. You're welcome.
I can't wait.
We're going deep into Pan Am.
Yes, we are.
I'm really excited. I've kind of blown Tara's mind a couple of times so far when we've been talking about it. I've been like, did you know this? And she's like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Right. Oh my God. I know. Can't wait. It's going to be great. Kind of like with Twilight, we're going to talk books and movies. So definitely check it out. And yeah, speaking of Twilight, we have our Twilight deep dive over there that came out last year, and also a bunch of other fun content and interviews, all kinds of good stuff. So if you need more of us, go check that out. But with that, we're going to just go ahead and dive on into our headlines today. So our first one is an update on a case that just covered quite a while ago. I will put the episode, I don't know. I know we've done an update on true crime headlines, but just did do a dedicated episode to the Jennifer Dulos case quite a while back. So those will be in the show notes if you want to tune in and see what all of that is about. It's crazy, really fucking crazy. So this headline is actually Jennifer Dulos's husband, ex-husband, whatever you want to call him, his girlfriend that was intertwined in all of this.
Oh.
Yes. So our headline reads, Judge to rule Michelle Troconis's attempt to vacate her conspiracy to murder Jennifer Dulos conviction. Troconis was found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder in 2024 in connection to the death of Dulos, the estranged wife of her boyfriend. Michelle will have her appeal heard in court. So in 2024, when she was convicted, there was hindering the prosecution and tampering with evidence in the 2019 death of Dulos, and she was sentenced to more than 14 years in prison. Prosecutors claimed that Troconis helped Dulos's estranged husband, Fotis Dulos. Oh my God, these names are a mouthful. I'm so sorry.
I remember this case and being like, oh my God. Because if you know me, if you've listened for a while, you know names trip me up. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah. She helped him dispose of her body following her disappearance in March of 2019. Her body was never found. Fotis was engaged in a custody battle with Jennifer at the time and was dating Troconis, according to NBC. He, if you guys might remember, died by suicide in 2020 while he was facing murder charges. Troconis has since filed a habeas corpus petition seeking to overturn her conviction, which will be heard by a judge beginning yesterday in our time, because today is Tuesday, January 6th. According to the paper, the habeas trial will see a constitutional challenge to her conviction, which argued that she received ineffective counsel during her 2024 trial. Her challenge argues that her original attorney, Andrew Bowman, allowed her to be questioned by police without immunity from prosecution, and that statements she made were later the focal points used in the case against her. Which it's like, okay, that's your fucking own problem.
Fault.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm sorry. Bad guys who talk to the police and think that the police aren't going to use, that's literally your Miranda rights. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Literally.
Miranda rights.
Literally.
I feel like that kind of appeal has been coming up a lot. Like ineffective counsel has been popping up a lot recently.
And Andrew gave people a statement, and he said, there is no basis in fact or law to support this habeas petition. I absolutely reject any claims that I did not render effective assistance of counsel. It will ultimately be up to a judge to decide if Troconis indeed received ineffective counsel and if her conviction should be vacated. And like I just said, this started on Monday, January 5th. And the update as of today, our time, January 6th, is that they are going to be continuing the trial on Friday. So if you're listening to this on published day, that is tomorrow. So I will keep a note on that and we will see what happens with that. But it's just like, bro, you're just reaching at this point. You're just trying to find a way to not be in there for your 14 years, basically, in my opinion.
Right. Which is 7. In reality.
Right, true.
In some places, it would even be less, depending on, you know, like if she's got 14 years, she might only have to serve 5.
Well, now we're going to move on to what I'll just call a cult.
I love a cult.
So this actually happened before the new year. The headline reads, arrest made at a campsite of religious group who believed leader is Jesus Christ incarnate. So Lando.
His name is Lando?
Mm-hmm.
That's a terrible cult leader name.
No, but that's not his cult leader name.
Oh.
Reverend Lamp.
That's even worse than Lando.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. I will mock the cult leader named Lamp. Oh no, I love Lamp.
Ew, can't say that now.
No.
I wonder if they would say it. Or if that was like their slogan.
I was going to say, like, you know how like they have their little like thing that they say to each other? Like,
yeah.
So that they know that they're good. What if it was literally just someone leaning in and being brick and being like, I love Lamp.
Jesus. Okay.
Sorry. I took us way off course. My bad.
It's fine. So on December 30th, authorities made an arrest at a rural Alabama campsite that was occupied for months by a religious group. The Walker County Sheriff's Office announced that officials had executed a search warrant at the Empire, Alabama campground where the group had been living on Tuesday, December 30th, in a video shared on Facebook the same day. Arrests were made at the rural property, where authorities also recovered drugs and a gun, because of course they did, and this is relayed through a Walker County sheriff named Nick Smith in the video. The group is called More Than the Prophet Ministries.
More Than the Prophet Ministries.
And Reverend Lamp claimed to the outlet, and then the group claimed, that for about a year, he paid monthly rent for the rural campsite where he invited individuals who needed to, quote, get yourself together, including treatment for drug and alcohol use. Lando says that the property owner, who lives in Arkansas, told the group to leave in November, and several individuals had already left by the time the warrant was executed. The rest were packed up and planned to leave at the end of December, which Lando claimed he had already paid rent. Several members of the group of around 15, who hailed from various U.S. states including California, New York, Georgia, and Florida, were arrested, and illegal narcotics were recovered, along with a handgun at the rural property, according to Smith. The sheriff also warned that any members would be arrested for trespassing should they return. And then they go on to say, quote, we have arrested some of the individuals connected to this campsite. We have released the others, he said on that video. They are getting their belongings and they're leaving the property. They have been advised that they are no longer the property owners of this property. But the Walker County Sheriff's Office could not be reached for comment. Lando claimed to WBRC-6 that 3 of the members were arrested for refusing to give their names to authorities, and that authorities also found marijuana, not narcotics, at the site. He had told the outlet that the handgun was registered to someone who no longer lived at the campsite. The religious group leader, who described himself to WBRC-6 as, quote, the only begotten son of the living God, end quote, recalled waking up to the warrant being executed after hearing a noise. Lando claimed one of the members' hair was snatched, quote, in the process, with the same member showing a piece of his hair to WBRC-6 as evidence. Lando and other members told the outlet that they were being handcuffed and laid face down on the road. The leader also told the outlet that he felt that the authorities' approach was heavy-handed. If law enforcement had just woke me up and instructed them to leave, he could have just told them that the group had planned to depart that same day. According to Smith, the Walker County Sheriff's Office received support into the investigation into the group from the Blount County Sheriff's Office as well as the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. It is not immediately clear what the role DHS played in this case. I mean, if you're gonna join a cult that has a house, a building, not just a campsite.
That's the whole point. Like a place to live. Not to burst Lamp's light bulb, but marijuana is not decriminalized in Alabama. So according to the Google, those people who are arrested actually should have been arrested because it's a misdemeanor that carries jail time, hefty fines, driver's license suspension. So like if you were caught without, like if you were caught with marijuana and then you refused to give your name, I could see why that would be a problem.
Right. And then the gun, even though it was registered, that person wasn't there. So y'all shouldn't be having that gun. So way to go, idiots.
Yeah. It just sounds like they weren't a cult who had gotten their shit together yet. They were like early stages. Campsites, I don't think are great for cults because the family that takes their kid camping next door is not going to be happy about it.
No.
And they're going to call the local sheriff when your cult members walk over and try to talk to their teenage daughter about joining their cult. Like, that's just what I see happening. So, word of advice to cults, find yourself a building. A barn is fine.
Something, yeah.
4 walls and a roof. 4 walls and a roof. That's all you need. Preferably, if I was to join your cult, I'd need a running like water that's like hot water, preferably, an indoor plumbing, a quesadilla maker. Just, if you're trying to recruit me.
Just give them your rider. It's fine. This is what it's turning into.
This is what I need.
This is what I need to join your cult.
Apparently, it's very low maintenance. I also need to be out to get my hair done and get my nails done.
Maybe they got it in-house, though. You never know.
Oh my God, if they recruited a nail technician and someone to do my hair, I would never have to leave anywhere. I will also be the cult leader or the cult member. Let's face it, I would try to be the cult leader. I would be a little too competitive and try to knock the cult leader down. I'd be like, I don't want to go anywhere. The cult is you leave me alone, but someone make me quesadillas. That's where I'm at.
Oh my goodness. This next one is, we love when there's a case that's older and they finally get justice. And this is the case for our next headline, which reads, a California teen was murdered while his companion was sexually assaulted in 1984. His killer was just brought to justice. Roger Neil Schmidt pled guilty to first-degree murder with special allegations on Monday, December 1st, according to the Shasta County District Attorney's Office. He was sentenced to life in prison on December 16th. Schmidt fatally shot 18-year-old Terry Arndt and assaulted a woman, also 18, who had been sitting in a car together in Bernie, California, on December 14th, 1984. He pulled up next to Arndt's parked car and began firing. When the shooting started, Terry covered the female victim with his own body, protecting her from being shot, the district attorney's office said. Schmidt, armed with a gun, then pulled the female out of the car and sexually assaulted her multiple times. Schmidt then left the scene. The woman, whose name was not publicly released, drove the car in search of help. Arndt was taken to a hospital where he was later pronounced dead. For decades, the case remained cold until new DNA methods and forensic genealogy helped point authorities to a suspect and eventually connect Schmidt to the crime. The district attorney's office said authorities traveled to Tucson, Arizona in July to obtain DNA samples from Schmidt. Subsequent testing confirmed he was a match, and he was then interviewed by police. Schmidt confessed to the murder and sexual assault, prosecutors said, and he was arrested and charged. According to prosecutors, Arndt's parents were both present when Schmidt pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to life without parole. It's really awful, but I'm really happy that his family was still alive to see justice.
Me too. That was 42 years ago.
Insane. And see, people want to hate on these genealogy databases, but they be solving cases every fucking day, and I love it.
That's why I encourage people to actually do them, because you might have, like, if you are like, man, my uncle is sketchy, do it. I'm just like, obviously, like a random insert family, I should say sketchy family member, not necessarily just an uncle, but like, do them, because people need closure.
Absolutely. There's always hope, and they always deserve justice, for sure.
And also you get to learn fun facts about where like your genealogy comes from. And if you're like me, it changes all the time. And suddenly you're not things and you're things and then not things. So it's very confusing for me, but oh my gosh. And Bernie Falls is so tiny. Like it's a tiny town, folks. Like if you Google it, you'll be like, oh my God, you're very surprised that they have a hospital. It's so far out there and in the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so our next headline is actually a case that has been popping up on my social media. You guys might have seen it. It is revolving around an Ohio dentist and his wife. Spencer and Monique Tepe were found dead on the morning of December 30th in their home of the 1400th block of North 4th Street in Columbus, Ohio. Spencer, 37, and Monique, 39, had been married for about 5 years and had 2 children, a 1-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl. The couple also had a golden doodle. And this is important to mention because Spencer and Monique were found shot, and the children and the dog unharmed.
Oh.
Basically, Spencer, he was a dentist for Athens Dental Depot in Athens, and he previously worked at Ashland at Stone Creek Dental Care. It seems like they were good people. They had a kind of normal life. He had earned his bachelor's degree in biology and Spanish and his doctorate in dental surgery from Ohio State University. His family says that he was an avid Buckeyes and Cincinnati Bengals fan. He was raised in the Cincinnati area and attended Mason Public Schools. Monique was described by her family as being an excellent baker, a loving mother, and a patient partner. And she had a background in education and also attended Ohio State University. The Columbus police have been giving very limited information because until yesterday, January 5th, they had no idea who had done this. The killer is still out at large. They had originally asked the public on the 5th if anybody had any, security camera footage between the hours of 2 and 5 a.m., like in that immediate area, so that way they could see if they could pick up any vehicles, if they could pick up any people. Police had said that they had both died after being shot, but information about where the Tepes were found inside their home and how many times they were shot had not been released. But since then, they had said that Spencer was shot multiple times and the shell casings were recovered at the scene. They were found after Spencer did not report to work that morning. A fellow dentist and the owner of Athens Dental Depot called police around 9 a.m. saying he had not come into work and that he and Monique were not answering their phones. So the police had went for a well check. No one had answered from the front or the back doors. Police returned about an hour later as concerned coworkers and at least one friend arrived at the residence. A coworker called the police saying she could hear the children inside, and a friend called to say that he saw Spencer's body by a bed in the home. The friend said in the 911 call that Spencer had last been heard from the day before and he had been in good health and had never used any drugs. Shortly after the shooting, Columbus police said no gun was found and determined their deaths not to be a murder-suicide. The Franklin County Coroner's Office is conducting autopsies for the couple, and the autopsy report, they said in this article, will take about 4 to 6 weeks to be completed, which, that's pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
Columbus police have provided minimal information publicly about the investigations. Among the information that has not been released yet was what was the potential motive and whether one of the Tepes was the primary intended target, whether the Columbus City crime cameras near the Tepe home captured any useful footage, why the window of time police were seeking video was narrowed from between 2 to 5 a.m. I would assume that would be because they could, kind of estimate the time of death rather quickly.
Yeah.
And then an update on this article that they had put on here was that the Columbus police released a video of a person of interest around 6:30 p.m. on January 5th. So in our time, this was yesterday. And so that is an additional article. Both of these articles for this is from the Columbus Dispatch, by the way, in case you are curious. And in this video footage, you can see a person of interest. They have this in quotes, of course. And this person can be seen walking in the alley near a home where the Wineland Park couple was found. So they are starting to, it sounds like, make some moves on it. This is so heartbreaking. And there's been a lot of additional articles coming out, and like I said, their children are 1 and 4. I couldn't even bring myself to read it, but there was an article that I think people had put out about this. It was talking about how the family was still trying to figure out how to tell the 4-year-old that their parents were dead. And, it just, that breaks my heart. I just really hope that they catch this person that did it. I think that's great that they've found some footage that's hopefully going to be a solid lead. And if, you know anything or you see it and you recognize it, please come forward and definitely help this family get justice, because that is so awful and so heartbreaking, because now there are 2 children who don't have either of their parents, and losing them at such a young age, one being a year old. And, unfortunately, even the 4-year-old may not even really later in life remember their parents very well. So that just breaks my heart so much. I always hate that. I'm so glad that the children were left alone and not harmed. And for me, that kind of makes me do wonder if maybe one of the parents or both were targeted for whatever reason, because usually when we see these break-ins gone wrong, they go and unfortunately they kill everybody. And the fact that they left the children and the dog, I don't know, it just I think that stands out for quite a few people, I would say, but it definitely stood out for me.
It could be that this person saw that how young the children were as well, and being like, well, there's no point, especially if they slept through it. We don't know, because they're quite small.
Right.
It's so heartbreaking.
It really is. All right. And I have one more headline for today. So this headline reads, Texas couple who pitched themselves as Chip and Joanna Gaines plead guilty to a $5 million home building scheme. $5 million fucking dollars.
That's a lot.
And they look pretty young. So Christopher and Raquel Judge admitted to defrauding more than 40 homeowners, with prosecutors saying client funds were spent on personal expenses, including plastic surgery.
What?
A couple who federal prosecutors say defrauded dozens of homeowners out of nearly $5 million by promising custom homes and renovations they never finished have pled guilty to wire fraud conspiracy charges. Christopher Judge and his wife Raquel, both of Fort Worth, admitted in federal court that from August 2020 to January 2023, they conspired to deceive customers through their company, Judge DFW LLC. Prosecutors say that the couple collected millions in installment payments for custom architecture, construction, and interior design services, often offering below-market bids before abandoning projects.
Oh, no.
In some cases, leaving families without livable homes. They started construction projects and accepted multiple installment payments from victims, but never completed those projects, often leaving victims without a completed residence, the U.S. Attorney's Office, North District of Texas said. Plea documents viewed by People note that more than 40 victims across 6 North Texas counties were affected, spanning at least 24 construction projects, with losses totaling approximately $4.8 million.
That's insane.
One couple, documents show, paid the judges almost $364,000. That's basically a whole house.
In Texas, yeah.
Yeah.
A nice house.
Yeah. As part of the scheme, prosecutors said, Christopher falsely claimed to be a licensed architect while the couple commingled client payments in a single operating account and used money from one project to fund unrelated jobs. On Tuesday, December 30th, 2025, Christopher pled guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud, a charge that carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in federal prison.
Jesus Christ.
Raquel pleaded guilty on December 17th to one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and faces up to 5 years behind bars. Both also face restitution, fines, and supervised release. Sentencing for Raquel is scheduled for April 14th, 2026, while Christopher is set to be sentenced May 12th, 2026 before U.S. District Judge Terry R. Means. And people reached out to their reps. I'm assuming no comments. For homeowners, the couple's guilty pleas mark the accumulation of years of financial strain and emotional turmoil. Kristen Newman told WFAA she hired the judges to build what she believed would be her dream home after paying off her law school loans. She said, quote, "I was planning on kind of growing into this house." She explained that Raquel had handled most of the communication while Christopher was introduced as the, quote, architect and builder. That's the same way another victim, Lane Simmons, and his wife, Kaylee Simmons, experienced the judges when they hired the couple to remodel their family home. Saying, quote, "They came to our house and really pitched themselves like this Chip and Joanna Gaines type of vibe." Oh, okay. So they weren't pretending to be them, but they were like...
We're basically them, but like accessible to people.
Yes. Progress on both properties looked good in the beginning, and they said it started out great, that they had no problems. Another person saying that first day was so impressive. They came in with a full crew. They had it stripped down to the studs that first day, but that quickly changed. I would say that maybe a month, maybe 2 months in, things started to slow down quite a bit, and we were already worried about some of the quality stuff that my husband and dad had pointed out. Newman's dream home had also turned into a nightmare, she explained to WFAA. Construction delays mounted, items she paid for, like windows and doors, never arrived. When she asked for money back for missing items and work that had not been yet completed, she said Christopher told her that the funds were gone. Soon, Christopher stopped answering her questions altogether. She said, quote, "He just walked off. He just stopped talking to us and never came back." Federal court records describe these actions as part of the couple's pattern of conduct, alleging they collected installment payments, failed to complete work, did substandard construction, and did not pay subcontractors. Prosecutors allege that when victims questioned delays, Christopher made excuses via calls and texts, assuring them that continued payments would keep the project moving. Instead, court records show that the judges spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on personal expenses, including $27,000 on mortgage payments, $82,000 on Amazon purchases,
Jesus,
and approximately $10,000 on plastic surgery. Both Newman and the Simmons hired independent inspectors. In the Simmons home, the contractor found numerous code violations, including unsafe framing. The front and back decks and interior stairwell had been torn out and rebuilt. One of the victims said that the inspector said, quote, "This is the worst job I've probably ever seen." He goes on to say that my house, everything they did is wrong. Newman spent $200K in addition to the $200K she's paid the judges. So, $400 freaking K to complete and repair the home, NBC Dallas Fort Worth had reported. Ultimately, they only got to framing and putting a roof on the house. She since then sold the home and moved in with her parents.
Oh my God.
It gets worse. There's more.
Oh.
We have another victim, Jeremy Congleton, told NBC Dallas Fort Worth that he had to file bankruptcy after the judges abandoned his project. His family of 4 spent 18 months living in an RV while he completed the construction on the house himself. And Jeremy goes on to tell the outlet, "What he owes me and what we've paid out of pocket and credit card debt, having to file bankruptcy is about $250,000. All of the victims spoke to NBC Dallas Fort Worth, saying that they believe most of their money is gone for good, but expressed relief that the couple will no longer be able to take on new clients. And Lane hopes that their story serves as a warning to others, specifically urging homeowners to see significantly lower bids from contractors as a warning sign. If somebody's cheap, it's probably for a reason." Damn, that is insane. That's one of those things where it's like, they obviously had gotten away with shisty little shit and then just got too cocky. And it's like, you're talking almost $5 million.
That's so much.
So much money.
These are people's houses. This is like, I'm looking at Newman, who paid off her student loans, law school loans at that. So we're talking like undergrad and then law school, and then probably acquired a little debt while she was like, first couple of years, hustled, paid off her debt, and then turned around and wanted to build her dream house. And these people just stole them. And the thing is, in construction, if someone builds it trash, right? Like builds it terribly, you have to get it inspected by the city before you can occupy it. And oftentimes you have to do this in like a sequence of things. Like this inspectors come out multiple times. But like, let's say this had just gotten to the end and she had built this house. She couldn't live in the house until she got it fixed. And she spent $400,000 and then had to move in with her mom and dad. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. That sucks. That breaks my heart.
Right. And then that other family that had to file bankruptcy and was stuck living in an RV for almost 2 years. And then who knows how much more out of pocket he paid for doing it himself.
Right. Because it's probably little things here and there where maybe I didn't keep a receipt, things like that.
Awful.
Coming from like a home building background. If you guys didn't know, I used to work in home building. But it's like the ones that are like low bids. Most people who are in construction will say, oh, they're going to do a bunch of change orders, which are basically like, I'll tell you I'll build it for $10 and then I'm going to show you a bunch of like bids that to get the materials. Now it's $50 and you have to pay it because you're on the contract for this person. So it kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. I could not, the amount of rage that would be in my body is if I was talking to somebody about a house that I'd given them $200,000 for and they fucking walked away from me. I would have been in prison because I would have thrown a hammer. Like a windshield would have been, my blood would have boiled. I'd have been like, are we talking now? Smash. Even if you're super rich, you're not going, ooh, 200,000, that was great. Like that's still a lot of money.
Exactly. I'm glad they're being held accountable. I'm glad, now they can't have any more victims and scam any other people.
Right.
I don't know why people try to do these stupid ass scams like that, especially nowadays. It's like, you're going to get caught.
I think people think as long as they keep it going and then they just kind of like dribble it in, these people just sound like they spent faster than they dribbled in.
Mm-hmm.
They probably had done it in other times where they had like managed it well.
Totally.
And they were basically robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Oh, for sure.
But $10,000
and then
$82,000 in Amazon?
Yeah, I was going to say that's more appalling to me because I'm like, okay, $10K, that's like what? Some boobs and a nose job maybe, if that, but like
it's probably a nose job.
Yeah, it's like one or the other.
Yeah.
$82K on Amazon. What are you doing? Are you getting all of your supplies off Amazon? Because that's a lot of fucking money.
Actually, I'm pretty sure like you can buy like prefabricated houses for like $50,000 on Amazon.
That's crazy.
that are the kind that like show up and then you just like get a bunch of your strong friends together and like push the walls up.
Oh, God.
I actually really for a long time was like, I'm going to buy a little piece of land and figure this out. The only thing I got to figure out is electricity and plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two really big things, as mentioned earlier in my rant about the cult.
You're a cult writer.
I need a toilet that works and I don't have to empty.
Right.
I remember when mini houses were like tiny houses became a thing and my ex was like, we should buy one. And I was like,
Nope.
Most of those don't have like, they're not pre-plumbed.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not, I'm like, I don't know about you, but I don't move the poo. The city moves the poo.
Oh, God. Well, on that note, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this roundup of true crime headlines. We are going to try to incorporate these a little bit more. They're always interesting, especially because we had a case. Like I said, we had a case update that we've covered before, and that's still going. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. And if y'all ever find any headlines you want to hear us talk about, like send them our way, just like you guys send us topic requests and listener stories. Oh yeah, and if you have listener stories, send those over so we can do some listeners episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely want to bring those back this year. But yeah, with that, we'll go ahead and sign off, and we will see you back here on Sunday for another Sunday Scaries. Bye, guys.
Toodles.